Hello everybody, this is going to be the fourth video. Ideally I hope part 2 is uploading as I speak and part 3 will be uploading soon, and now this is just a regular new video. Then this video is like I said, well actually I haven't said it, but it might not be as long as my others because I just want to throw out my 2 cents about term limits. As you all know right now, the President of the United States gets to be elected twice, 4 years, which gives him 8 years. I can get, or she, if we have a woman president. So he or she, president, it's 2 terms. Some states have 2 terms for the governor. Some states have 3. I'm not sure if there's a state that has unlimited, but I think they're all within 2 or 3 for governors. But when we look at the other people in our federal government, the House of Representatives and the United States Senate, how many terms are they going to get? Just to let you know, those of you who are new to politics, if you're thinking 1, think again. If you're thinking 2, keep guessing. If you're thinking 3, 4, or 5, you're nowhere close, because you know why? You can serve as long as you want until you either get kicked out, but then you can rerun and maybe get brought back in. So it's pretty much you just serve until you just decide that you don't want nothing to do with politics anymore, or you die.
Yep, that is true. By the way, Sean here, heard, not seen, exact opposite of children. So, anyway, John Quincy Adams, for anybody that likes history, he died on the Senate floor after he went in and, got into politics, went to the Senate, became president, and then went back and became a senator again. And, he was arguing on the Senate floor, and he, just died. He just, had a heart attack and just, and that's the way it went. I mean, now that's the way I want to die. I mean, seriously, I'd love it, just arguing and then, that makes a really good ending statement there. But really, I mean, these people really do need term limits. I'm sorry.
I know.
Because they become too warped when they're in there.
And I mean, and that's the thing I want to bring up, because
they should have less than the president should have, maybe.
I don't feel about that. I mean, but I want to tell you how I feel. So I feel that representatives serve 2 years each. So I feel that, roughly they should get, they should be able to be elected 4 times. So they serve 8 years. But once they do that, they have to run for Senate. I feel that, the Senate's a different seat, so it's a different position. Now, senators have a 6-year term. So, just work with me for a second. Let's say you decide to run for House of Representatives when you're 40 years old. And you serve your 4-term limit. Let's just make it easy and let's say it's 5. That way you're 50, you've done 10 years. Then you decide to run for senator. So then I say only 2 terms, because that's 12 years. So by the time you're done your senator, you're already 62 years old. For the love of Pete, retire already. Gosh, haven't you served long enough? Do you really want to serve till you're 82 years old, 92 years old, 102 years old like Strom Thurmond? I mean, that guy had a lot of guts in him, but I think he was kind of, not really with it his last years. But
I'm sorry.
But you see, here's what happens when you have the same people within the same position for a long period of time.
Become corrupt.
It becomes corrupt. But here's the thing. The idea that you have, let's say, somebody was elected their first term as representative last year. And then, they go on to become a senator and all that. The idea that they had in 2009 will more than likely be the same idea that they'll have into the year 2030. It'll be the same idea. But let's say in 2030 we have somebody, new, somebody young, and they want to run. They'll probably have the same idea, but they'll have more ideas to make the idea better. Because this person who's had this idea has had the same idea for the past 21 years, and their idea is not changing because it's the same idea. It's old. That's why we need new people. We need new people to make these old ideas better. I'm not saying that the ideas are bad, it's just that they're old. And you need to tweak them a little bit to make them newer. Because, really, you just can't live off. If we would have had the same thoughts about civil rights as we did back in the year 1700s, then I don't really think minorities would have the right to vote, because we would have had the same ideas back then. But because new people came along and they had this idea, but they had better ideas to make this idea better, then therefore, slaves were freed. Then a few years later, they were given a right to vote and they were given a right to land. So you see where I'm going with this?
Now, let me play devil's advocate. I understand that portion of it, but how the heck do you think we got into the situation we are in now? Now, we have Barack Obama as president, young guy, hey, speaks well, all sorts of stuff. Brand new ideas, great, so on that. And then all that stuff. It's not necessarily the young people, it's just the fact, my God, another person. It's just the fact that they're in there for too long. And let me tell you something. Young people can be corrupt very easily.
That's true. That's true.
Look. Just to tell you, how young was that guy in American Psycho? I'm just throwing that out there for anybody that's seen it. It's just horrible. It's just a very violent movie about a really corrupt man on Wall Street. Anyway, anyway, you have these people that go in there, young or old, get corrupted, and they get stuck on these old ideas. Whereas other people come in, and young or old, if you had turmoils, these other people would have a chance. You have Ehrlich, in our state of Maryland. Ehrlich.
He was our previous government.
Now, he left, and you have O'Malley. O'Malley raised the taxes.
Yes,
and
he did.
And his level, his rating level is
it's going down. He's not going to get reelected. I don't re-elect him. I can tell you that right now.
He'll probably get reelected. They to see what they did. What O'Malley did was he threw us in the state of
Sorry to interrupt you, but we got a minute and a half left. Just to let you know.
The Baltimore City is part of our district now, so he rigged it so he could actually get the votes and stuff like that, so he can keep on pouring in and stuff like that, so he can stay in office. So you know what? Don't blame me. I voted for Ehrlich.
And actually, we really weren't able to vote then. But he would have voted for Ehrlich. I would have voted for O'Malley. But that was then, when I didn't have this open mind. Now I have an open mind, and then, like I said, I'll be voting for Democrats, and I'll be voting for Republicans, and I'll be voting for third parties later in my life.
Go Nader.
But coming back to my main point about term limits, there's corruption, and take a look at the Kennedys. Ted Kennedy was in there for how many years? Oh my gosh! And believe me, they'll say they're not, but the Kennedys are corrupt. They are probably the most corrupt family ever. They probably were. But this is why we need term limits, to get rid of corruption, and I feel about newer ideas. Some people, that might be debatable, but that's just what I believe. Anyway, thank you for this, and good night. Bye bye.